Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you'll meet the author of this best-selling book. It's called How to Avoid Strangers on Airplanes. His incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Remember when travel was fun? I mean, before September 11th, you remember you could just roll up at the airport, breeze on by, and be on the plane in a matter of minutes. I get nervous when I fly, just not because of the flight itself, but just the crowds, the people, the noises, and the congestion, and your flight is always delayed. Well, somebody who wrote a book about it is in the studio right now. Brandon C. Blewett is in the studio. He's the author of How to Avoid Strangers on Airplanes. Brandon, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, what made you write the book?
So 15 years of weekly work travel, gather a lot of stories, see a lot of incidents, probably some of those that create the stress that you face and you encounter. And it was just fun and somewhat cathartic to put that pen to paper.
And so were you writing a journal or like a diary and then it turned into a book, or how did that work?
It started that way. So it started as a list of 25 habits that were annoying and more of a passenger roast, but I'm glad I didn't finish the book when I was in the height of my consulting travel days, because I think that's all it would have been. And as a result, I was able to reflect and liken the travel experience to our professional development journeys.
And if you're one of those people who don't like to talk to strangers on airplanes, just buy his book and hold it in front of you because it sends a loud, clear message.
Exactly.
It could have no pages in it.
I thought about that. It would have, my publisher and the editors probably would have thought it'd be a much easier process to do, blank pages.
We're going to pull up his website, and as we scroll down the website, I know you do a lot of speaking as well. What kind of groups do you like to speak to?
So most of the speaking that I do is to investors, private equity panels, and then also at conferences that are related to the industries where I've worked. So recently I was in Chattanooga for Paybacks. It's a paving conference, and a lot of times there are business owners that are curious what the sales process will look like, and it's fun to get to meet with those entrepreneurs.
Okay, we're going to put up a graphic of the book because I love the artwork. I know you've been working with your publishers on this. Tell us about what all went into the book. How long did it take to write?
So once I got a deadline date, it took probably 4 to 5 months to get the first draft, and then it's another month or two of editing. But the idea is something that had been with me for several years. But it's very funny. Once they give you that date that this is when your draft is due, it becomes very real. And all of the notes that I thought were organized and going to be easy to just fill in the blanks, that was, it didn't become a chore, but it became much more real.
And you have an amazing PR person. Shout out to your PR person because she has you booked solid. How many interviews have you done since the book came out?
I've done 12 interviews since December, and there's a few that have not yet been released. So Annie Hoffman has been amazing on this journey.
So impressed. It's hard to impress me when it comes to PR, but I am so impressed with you. So we're going to show one clip. Let's go ahead and roll this video.
Let's talk about, because passengers can maybe not be our friends. Sometimes we meet someone who's really cool, but also there's really difficult passengers, ones who are kicking the back of your seat. Let's talk strategies in this book of how you deal with that.
So lots of therapy. But
You're a trip.
So I would say, readers, when they take a look at the book, will notice that it's written from the perspective of a bystander, someone that's largely looking on at the situations. I have never once seen someone inject or insert themselves into a tense situation and to do anything but escalate the matter. There are people that are in positions of authority that can control and change unruly behavior. I say take a breath, maybe take a sip and blare up the volume on your headphones.
Okay, I love that. I love that. Take a sip. You know what he meant by that. Any survival tips that every traveler should know before they even step foot in DFW or in Love?
Yeah, I think the main thing is control what you can control and let go of what you can't. And there's several things that we can control. We can control understanding the traffic that, and how long it's going to take to commute to the airport. You can also check the DFW website for parking availability, and they actually have every single TSA checkpoint wait time available on their website, which is super helpful because it's not always the checkpoint closest to your gate that is going to have the shortest wait time.
Right.
I'd also say make sure that you pack your snacks because you get there, the lines are long, especially this time of year. And when people have low blood sugar levels, they get a little bit cranky.
Listen, you are not you when you're hungry, okay? Make sure you have a snack.
Exactly.
I love that. Such good advice. And this book is just hilarious, you guys. I got to read a few excerpts, and it really is. It's perfect to read while you're waiting for your flight in the terminal. So there you go. Where can people actually find your book?
So you can find my book at Amazon. It's also on Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and on iBooks.
Love it. Well, Brandon, I'm going to be reading this on Friday when I get on my flight, and hopefully it'll take off on time and I won't have to worry about it too much. But I'll be using your tips if it doesn't.
All right. And then on Saturday, go Ponies.
Go Ponies. There you go. I love it.
All right. You're a great interview. Well done. You told me before the show that the book gets into more than just air travel. It actually has applications to work.
It does. So each of the habits are things that anyone that's traveled more than twice in the last year will find relatable. You'll nod along, you'll groan, you'll sigh, you'll laugh. But those habits are also traits that we see in our career journey. So gate lice, the people that crowd the boarding area, how many times have I felt or others feel crowded out from a certain job? If you wanted to get into a field, but maybe you didn't go to the right target school, then it seems that those seats on that plane, may not be available, right? And similar with backpack wrecking crews. And in the book, I talk about people that just walk down the aisle and turn whichever way, you get hit in the head. And how many times have we been thwacked in the head, not even by people, but just, circumstances in our careers? And, what are the lessons you can draw from to wind up in a place where you like what you do and, showing up to work on Monday isn't something that you absolutely dread?
Wow. Okay. With 1.7 million miles under your belt, what's one of the funniest things that you've witnessed on a plane?
So it actually occurred 2 weeks ago. There was a passenger in 1A sitting there against the window, minding his own business, and the passenger in 2A took off his shoes and decided to use the window side armrest as an ottoman, and saw the person elbow and thought at 30,000 feet that we were going to wind up in a viral situation that I was not looking to be a part of.
Did a bunch of cameras come up?
They did. That's what, this is not good. The flight attendant was incredibly professional and got the situation alleviated very quickly. So that was
very
good.
Cool. All right, Brandon, we're almost out of time. So final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
I'd love for people to read the book. And I think that as people's nerves have increased with air travel, these habits they're fun to read about. But I think the way that we can avoid these stranger habits being commonplace is to personally not commit them ourselves. So if people do that, I think maybe we can make air travel, more enjoyable, at least commercial air travel more enjoyable again.
Wow. You've been an amazing guest. Congratulations on your success and best luck on the book. We're going to end with his website, which is brandonblewett.com. The great Brandon Blewett. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.